Welcome to The Explainer. Let's just jump right into it. Today we are decoding the massive, fascinating puzzle that is human personality. Have you ever caught yourself wondering why you act the way you do? Or why you and a friend can experience the exact same situation but react in completely opposite ways? Well, the theory we're exploring today claims that all of our incredibly complex behaviors might just boil down to 5 main characteristics.
So, here is the big question for you. Can an entire human personality really be described with just 5 parameters? Honestly, it sounds kind of impossible, right? We are wonderfully complicated creatures. But scientists actually argue that we can map out our fundamental differences using just 5 broad traits. So, let's set the stage and look at exactly what those traits are.
Okay, let's dive into this. The secret here lies in a super simple acronym, and that's OCEAN. It stands for openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. These are the big 5 personality traits. Now, the absolute crucial thing to remember here is that it's not a black and white matter simply having a trait or not having it. Everyone varies. We all exist somewhere on a sliding scale for each and every one of these 5 letters.
To really wrap our heads around what each trait looks like in action, we're going to use a story. It's a fantastic way to take these abstract psychological concepts and drop them into a relatable, high-stakes scenario. Imagine 5 friends who find themselves shipwrecked on a deserted island right in the middle of the ocean. The stakes literally couldn't be higher. Let's see how they cope.
First up, we've got Odelia. She ranks very high in openness. Now, instead of panicking, she's actually excited. She's incredibly interested in exploring this beautiful new island. The exotic nature totally inspires her. She's out there collecting stones, shells, and blossoms just to decorate the entrance of the bamboo hut she built for the group. For Odelia, this whole ordeal is just a profound opportunity to learn new things. And really, that's exactly how high openness manifests. It's unquenchable curiosity, even in the middle of a crisis.
Okay, let's move on to our next survivor and see how this builds. Meet Claire. Claire represents conscientiousness. Now you'll notice she isn't excited at all. Instead, she is deeply concerned about the seriousness of the situation. As usual, she is highly prepared. Actually, she's the one who had the foresight to save the survival kit from their sinking ship. Driven entirely by a sense of duty, she starts tackling the crucial tasks right away. She's organizing everyone, making absolutely sure they start looking for fresh water and food.
Now, let's contrast that with Emil. Emil is an extrovert, and honestly, he is just absolutely thrilled that they all survived. He has this immediate, overwhelming need to talk and share his happiness with everyone else. He gathers the whole group together to celebrate their survival, and of course, to tell them all about his big master plan to explore the island as a team. You see, an extrovert draws their energy directly from their external environment and from sharing those experiences with the group.
Next up is Albert, who totally embodies agreeabilities. Albert is just kind by nature. Despite being exhausted and terribly thirsty himself, his main concern is his distressed friend Nora. In a completely selfless move, he offers her a drink from his own coconut. That's because highly agreeable people naturally put others' needs first. The rest of the group knows Albert usually agrees to everything, and they definitely never shy away from asking for his help.
Finally, we have Nora. Nora represents neuroticism, and she gets easily stressed. In fact, here on the island, she's having a total breakdown. She sits right down on the beach and cries, completely paralyzed by the thought of how they're ever going to get away from this place. To someone high in neuroticism, especially under extreme stress, the environment just feels incredibly dark. To her, the ocean looks endless, nature looks dangerous, and she feels completely, utterly lost.
Fast forward 8 weeks later, and we hit an exciting turning point. 2 ships finally appear on the horizon. Obviously, everyone gets incredibly excited, and once again, their dominant traits take the wheel as they try to signal for rescue. Emil aggressively champions the idea to make a giant fire and calls everyone to help. Claire, being Claire, immediately puts her head down and gets straight to work. Albert loyally brings over more wood. Odelia creatively holds up a beautifully arranged SOS sign she made, while Nora, acting purely on her overwhelming anxiety, simply screams desperately for help. But here's where it gets interesting. Little do our survivors know who is actually sailing on these ships. Let's shift gears from our island story over to the real-world scientific origins of this model. That first ship? It carries a group of psychologists who've been traveling the ocean since the 1980s investigating these exact traits. This research is actually what developed into the 5-factor or ocean model. And famously, Captain Lewis Goldberg coined the term Big Five.
So he's watching from his ship, absolutely thrilled to see these 5 friends on the beach perfectly matching these behaviors. But, being an objective scientist, he decides not to stop the boat. He prefers to just observe from afar.
But wait, here is the twist to our story. Right behind the scientists is a second ship, and this one is filled with pirates. But these aren't just your average pirates. They represent the exact opposite end of the ocean spectrum compared to our stranded friends. Let's take a closer look at how the low end of these traits manifests in real time.
First, let's compare Nora's earlier panic with Pirate 1. While Nora was totally overwhelmed and terrified, Pirate 1 is emotionally stable. She's very, very relaxed. When she spots the survivors on the beach, she doesn't panic or stress out at all. She just calmly suggests to the crew, hey, we could help them. This is a perfect example of the opposite of neuroticism, which is emotional stability.
Next, remember our kind, selfless Albert? Well, contrast him with Pirate 2, who is highly disagreeable. The moment Pirate 1 suggests helping, Pirate 2 immediately gets angry. He absolutely refuses to listen to anyone, he is completely unwilling to change his plans, and he has zero interest in going out of his way to help some random strangers on an island. Honestly, that is low agreeableness in a nutshell.
Then we have the exact opposite of our extrovert Emil, who you remember wanted to talk and celebrate with the group. Pirate 3 is an introvert. He looks over at the survivors on the beach, decides this is a highly complex situation that requires considering all possible outcomes, and what does he do? He feels this overwhelming need to be completely alone so he can think. Introverts draw their processing power from within, which usually means stepping away from the crowd.
Now let's contrast highly organized, duty-driven Claire with Pirate 4, who is extremely unconscientious. Pirate 4 simply does not care about the stranded people whatsoever. Why? Because he's careless, and right now he's super busy looking for the keys to his treasure chest, which he has somehow managed to lose yet again. Low conscientiousness usually means a lack of structure and a strong tendency to overlook your responsibilities. Finally, we have the pirate captain. Remember how Odelia fully embraced the whole new island experience? Well, the pirate captain is completely closed to new experiences. He has literally no interest in the unknown. He bluntly ends all discussion on the matter by simply telling his crew, "Our boat won't stop." High openness seeks out the new, while low openness rigidly sticks to the familiar, safe plan.
So, knowing all this, where do you think you fall on the spectrum of these big 5 traits? I'll be honest, self-assessment can be notoriously difficult. The truth is, many of us are actually quite bad at describing ourselves objectively. So getting an outside perspective is incredibly helpful. If you really want to uncover your true ocean traits, go pick a friend and try describing each other. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. Which of the big 5 traits do you recognize most strongly in yourself? Or, on the flip side, do you think this whole theory is flawed? Like, is it possible that we simply cannot describe an entire, wildly complex human personality in just 5 parameters? Take some time to reflect on your own personality spectrum. Thanks so much for joining me today, and keep questioning what makes you, you.